While most eyes are locked on the FIFA Club World Cup, here in Brazil the National League is momentarily on hold. But let's be honest, even if the games stop, the tension doesn't, especially for the clubs stuck in the relegation zone or just hovering above it. These weeks of break might feel like a blessing or the calm before the storm. That's exactly what we're going to explore today. Hey everybody, welcome to Inside the Brazilian Football. Today we are going to explore the relegation zone so far in the championship. If you are new here, consider subscribing to the channel and let's go to the video. So, let's start in the south of Brazil, where two clubs, Internacional and Juventude, are navigating different versions of the same struggle. Internacional, one of Brazil's most traditional clubs, began the season focused almost entirely on the Campeonato Gaúcho. That decision, of course, paid off. They lifted the state trophy and dominated the regional rivals. But what came after was far from ideal. The early months of the season were packed with intense matches, and most of them featured the full starting lineup. When the other competitions kick in, the Brasileirão, Copa do Brasil, and Libertadores, the wear and tear became obvious. Injuries, fatigue, emotional stress, they all started to show on the pitch. Coach Roger Machado admitted that the first semester taught them a hard lesson. He said that the team had to balance intensity with endurance, and that trying to go all in every game backfired, especially in the Brasileirão. And now we are seeing the result. Inter has dropped into the relegation zone, even though they are far from being one of the worst teams in the league. This pause for the Club World Cup came at the perfect moment. It gave the squad a fair chance to breathe, reset physically, and prepare for the crucial stretch ahead. The upcoming matches are a real test. Vitória, Ceará, Santos, Vasco, and Fluminense in the Copa do Brasil. These are matches that will shape the club's entire second half of the season. And if they don't respond with points, well, the pressure will only grow louder. Then there is Juventude, currently in 19th place with only 8 points, but with one game in hand. That could be enough to climb out of the drop zone. Or not. The next game is against Sport Recife, another struggling team, in what could already be considered a relegation 6-pointer. These are the kinds of matches that don't just affect points, they affect morale and momentum. And Juventude knows this. That's why they have been active during the break, working the transfer window to strengthen the squad. The club is hunting for a new goalkeeper, a right back, and a creative midfielder. These aren't just random signings, they are survival signings. Last season, Juventude finished in 15th place, narrowly avoiding relegation. This year, their margin for error is even smaller. Whether or not they avoid the drop will depend not just on the new players they bring in, but on how quickly those players adapt and impact results. Now let's move northeast, where things get even more complex. Fortaleza is a club that over the past few years has built an incredible reputation. They have played continental football, reached the final of Copa Sul-Americana in 2023, and turned themselves into a model for how a team from outside the Rio-São Paulo axis can compete at the top. But this season hasn't lived up to that standard. After 12 matches in the league, Fortaleza has just 10 points and sits in 18th place. To put that in perspective, in the same round last year, they had 17 points and were mid-table. It's a steep drop. Adding to the uncertainty is the club's transition into a new business model, a football corporation or SAF like we used to say here in Brazil. Fortaleza is actively seeking investors, and that process has created division within the fanbase. Some supporters believe it's a smart move for long-term sustainability. Others fear that the club's identity could be lost in the process. Despite that turbulence, there are still reasons to be optimistic. head coach Juan Pablo Voivoda remains in charge. He's one of the most respected coaches in the country and a big part of why Fortaleza reached a new level in recent years. And there is also the financial upside. Fortaleza still loans 30% of midfielder Hercules, who was shining at the Club World Cup with Fluminense. So let's say, if a major European club buys him, Fortaleza could pocket a significant amount of money that could be reinvested into the team. In my opinion, Fortaleza has what it takes to bounce back. I wouldn't be surprised to see them fighting for a Sul-Americana or even a top 6 finish by the end of the season. But of course, that's my take. What about you? Now, let's talk about the most alarming case in the league right now. Sport Recife. Sport hasn't won a single match in the league. They have played 11 times and not one victory. That alone would be bad enough. But there's more. During the Club World Cup break, they played a friendly match against Botafogo da Paraíba, a team from Brazil's 3rd division. And guess what? They lost. For a team that's desperate to regain confidence, that's the worst possible sign. The club's executive Thiago Gasparino said there's no reason to panic and that the team is still adapting to coach Daniel Paulista's ideas. But the numbers and performances on the field say otherwise. Worse still, Sport has been hit by multiple refereeing controversies this season. In round 2, they lost to Palmeiras after a penalty that shouldn't have been awarded, and the CBF later admitted the mistake, suspending both the referee and the VAR. In the very next round against Vasco, Sport has denied a clear penalty for a handball. Two critical matches, 2 wrong calls, and of course, 0 points. Back then, the club has announced that they would take the cases to the STJD, Brazil's Sports Tribunal. So now we are talking about a team with no wins, low morale, fan pressure, and officiating drama. It's a recipe for disaster. Unless something changes fast, Sport could be stuck in the bottom 4 for the long haul. But here's the thing, even clubs outside the relegation zone aren't safe. Santos, Vitória, São Paulo and Vasco all sit just a couple of points above the danger line. Internacional, Santos and Vitória are all tied on 11 points. Vasco has 13. The difference between the 13th and the 17th is razor thin. Just one match day can flip the entire table. That's why this Club World Cup break has been so valuable. It gave teams time to recover, reassess their strategies, and try to fix what wasn't working. For many clubs, this was their last chance to hit the reset button before the storm resumes. Because make no mistake, the fight against relegation is wide open. We don't know who's going to drop, but what we do know is that the battle is going to be intense, unpredictable, and absolutely brutal until the very last round. So now, I wanna hear from you. Which clubs do you think will survive? And which ones are in real danger of going down? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episodes of Inside the Brazilian Football. See you next!